Welcome back. Today we're in Chiang Mai, which is a city in the north of Thailand. It's the second biggest city in Thailand with a population of 1.2 million, second only to Bangkok. Behind me is quite a fairly modern hotel where I'm staying, and outside you can see you've got a laundrette should you need to wash your clothes, and should you need to buy a TV or a laptop, we have a place right here. What makes Chiang Mai interesting is that the word Chaing Mai means new city in Thai, but bizarrely the city was founded in the 12th century, so it's not that new. But what it does have is a walled area that dates back 700 years. So if you look over here, you've got a fairly modern landscape with the hotel and the electric store, stuff like that. But if you look over the road, there's a moat in a square that goes around the whole of the city centre, and that's walled off, and there's only certain bridges where you can get across into it. So we're technically on the outskirts of the city because we need to cross into that side of it to be in the main area. I'm just going to try and not fall down here. So yeah, we're going to go into there, we're going to have a look at some of the walls, and we're going to see what we can find in the city centre. But first, I need to cross the road, which is never an easy task in Southeast Asia in general. In Vietnam, you can just walk across the road and people will stop. They don't do that in Thailand. Hey, one of my fans. People don't stop in Thailand, so you just have to like bite the bullet and jump out at some point. I mean, standard trying to cross this road for a couple minutes now, and it feels like the scene out of Borat, the movie, where he's like running across the street in New York. I don't know, I don't have the confidence. The cars are going too fast. It's not like in a city centre where it's congested and you can just like wander out and just do it. In Vietnam, you just do this with your hand, and it means stop or slow down. But here, it's like pickup trucks and cars and bikes all flying past. I'm gonna give it a go. I'm just gonna start walking and hope that people see me and they're not touched. I'm scared, I don't want to. Go for it. Oh, that took about half the morning. Yeah, so over this side of the road you can see the contrast of, I mean, this is, we'll call this modern, but like I say, you've got the hotel and then the electronics store there. Across there behind those trees is a hospital and a Starbucks. But if you look here, you can see this is the human-made moat that runs down. And I'll put a screenshot in of the map now. And if I edited that correctly, you'll just have seen like a map of Chiang Mai. You can see it's a perfect square that goes around it. And the walls here, I'm going to wander down and get a bit closer. But these walls are actually quite impressive. I know this is so dull and so tedious. If you don't like walls, then you know this video is maybe not for you. But I find it fascinating that in a climate like this, these walls have been here and they've stood. Nearly fell. These walls have stood for over 700 years, and it is just really fascinating. And again, it's like kilometers of them as it loops around the city centre. Also as well, so technically I'm on the pavement, but like you can see ahead, you've got trees in the way, you've got a dip that just goes down here. That water just looks like it's full of techness. And yeah, the pavement on the other side's not much better. So Chiang Mai has that problem that a lot of places in Southeast Asia have. So it's a booming, bustling city and it's got money, but when it comes to the infrastructure, you'll still find things that you wouldn't necessarily find in Europe. So there's no wheelchair access, there's no pushchair access. The curbs, I'll show you some, because some of them they drop down like a foot in distance and height. What's that in metric? Like quarter of a meter maybe? Like a substantial drop. Like if you're walking home and you don't spot it and you fall down, it's going to hurt. So the problem again is, you see this is the way we've walked. So you've got your KFC and your Pizza Hut, and then the cars loop around here to then come back and go behind me, but they join in the other traffic that's coming this way. So to try and cross the road, you've basically just got to wait and then take your chance and run. I've only crossed 2 roads in about 5 minutes into the video already. You know, see, so you got stuff like this. So if you weren't paying attention, so imagine there's no street light. There's a street light up there. So you're walking back from the pub drunk, your hotel's around here, you come around here and you're like, oh, but luckily you've got this to protect you. I don't think I want to walk on that bit. Not quite sure. I just realised not only was I walking the wrong way because I'd forgotten, I'd said we were going to go and see the wall, but I also crossed the road, which I shouldn't, because now I've got to cross it back because the wall's on the other side. So the walls around the city are not necessarily a perfect square, so it's 2 kilometers by 1.8 kilometers. So I'm going to call that a square. And they were built, like I say, in the 1200s, and there was 40,000 men whose job it was to build these walls. So as we continue on, we'll see some of the walls that are still more intact, but this is at the other side, and you can see you can just walk right up to them and you can touch them, and they don't look that old. Like the stone that they've been built out of, the corners aren't rugged, they're not coming off, like they're still effectively squares. I'm guessing, if I know people, this isn't necessarily an Asian problem, this is a global problem. If I know people, the brickwork that made up these walls will definitely have been stolen over the years. People will use this material to build houses and businesses and stuff like that. So that's why you can see the discrepancies in the height here. Initially when they were built, they were much taller because there's no point in having a wall that's like 1.5 feet high. But you can see, if you can imagine, if you look at the thickness of the wall and then take into account the moat here, and you saw how long it took me to get across this side just because I was trying to dodge traffic getting across the bridge. So you can imagine if you've got this moat here, then this wall, you look how thick it is, and then imagine how high it was as well. It would have made quite the fortress, and it's quite the engineering project as well to build 3.8 kilometers, 3.8 thousand meters of wall that's 2 or 3 meters thick. So even from this point, I'm literally across here is my hotel. I don't know if we can see it in the gap. Yeah, so that's where we started, just that building there. But you can see in combination of the height of the ground and then the height of the wall, and if you see down here, that gives you an example as to how high it used to be. This was quite the project. My plan's been foiled by a sign that's actually pretty well translated. I'm not going to walk up there. You can see this section here, it looks like it's just about to fall down. You can see the angle it's leaning over at. But yeah, it's fascinating. So you feel even here in this corner completely hemmed in because you've got the height of this. You can imagine how high it would have been. But then on the other side of this wall, you can see the sign for the hospital. And then just down here, if you look across, there's a Starbucks. So again, it is that Southeast Asian thing where it's the old with the new just collide in a way that happens in the West, but not as prominently, I don't think. Is that the word? Prominently? Is that a word? Prominently. Prominently? It happens in the West, but it's not as prominent. I've just spotted this sign, and I think it's my favourite sign I've ever seen. So it says, no alcohol zone, punishable by 6 months imprisonment. I don't think I fancy 6 months imprisonment. That sounds quite the tedious task. I think I'll pay the fine. I don't know if that's trying to imply that gingers are easy or if it's just the only colour of paint they had. So we're now walking from the top left-hand side of the wall within the confines of the wall, walking south, hugging the right-hand side. That makes sense, within the square. I can get lost in the square, so I'm telling you where I'm going basically for my own benefit, for my own selfish gains. So here you can see the type of stuff we've got. So you've got like little shops here that are selling trinkets and things like that. Over here we've got some tinsel if you didn't get your Christmas decorations in time. There's actual footpaths as well, so you can walk, like it's not too bad. On the other side of the road there is a more prominent footpath, but this side is in the shade slightly more, so that's why I'm walking down here. And then again, when it comes to the old and the new, you can see you got your 7-Eleven, and then you've got all your power cables along the top, and it's again just that merging of cultures. About 5 seconds after I stopped talking about footpaths and the access of them, this is what happened. So the side of the road that I'm walking on has now become a motorbike parking area, a rubbish bin and a dump. We'll call it a recycling centre, that makes it sound better. I should probably try and cross the road, but it's such a mission to try and cross any road here, like I said. So like, I'm just going to keep walking and see what I can see on this side. I would like to walk down here on this footpath. We'll go around the truck. Hello? Hello? Two young guys that I presume are coming out of school or university or something just saw me filming and they're like, YouTuber? I'm like, yes. And I'm like, not famous. No, I don't know who you think I am, but it's not me. I promise you it's not me. So another aspect, or one of the main aspects about Chiang Mai, and the reason it's so famous and people come here, is you've got temples like this dotted around the city. They're everywhere. So you can see how beautiful they are and how well maintained they are. And when you go inside, they are really peaceful and calm places. But if there is anyone watching this video, you don't watch it to see actual real content that you might be interested in. So there's someone else that can teach you about temples, because I don't retain any information, especially about temples. So I've just turned off the street from up here, and thanks for that. Start that motorbike right now. And yeah, so just off the street, and you can see here like how colourful and pretty it is. And then you've got this, oh come on, hooligans. Yeah, you can see how colourful and pretty it is. And in the evening time, like, they light all this up, and you've got, like I see, all these temples that are dotted around the city. There's dozens of them, and yeah, they're really cool to come and check out. Like I say, I don't know anything about them. That's not my gig, so someone else can teach you about that. But we can see over here we've got this monument, and it's wrapped in orange fabric, which is the same colour as the fabric that the monks wear. That means something? Must mean something, maybe? Yeah. But it's also the same colour as the graffiti that we saw earlier with the ginger kids, so maybe it's just a really popular colour. Or maybe the ginger and the graffiti was because of the monk, because that's the colour that the monks wear. But then it was his hair, not his outfit. I don't know, I should probably start researching places a bit, because I feel like I just walk around and ramble on about motorbikes and cars and hats, and this is why no one watches the videos. It's all dawning on me now. I need to get my shit together. I'm now lost. I've managed to get lost within the square. I do have a map I can check, but look what I've found. I've found a bona fide pavement that I can walk on. Look at all the space I have. I can go left, I can go right. I've got all this space to myself. What a novelty. I don't know if this is a mistranslation or if this is intentional, but it says at Chiang Mai's women's prison. It looks very colourful for a prison sign, and the fence isn't that high. So we've got everyone here. We've got a tour guide, all in matching hats. I presume they're Chinese, just because that's generally the type. But you can see like the amount of people in this tour is like, what, 1, 2 is like, what, 20, 25 people? And yeah, I can't imagine traveling like that. It's like Frugalinger's cat, but like Frugalinger's travel. So like, by traveling somewhere, you change how it is when you're there, even slightly. So like, you could walk into a Thai restaurant, everyone's speaking Thai, they see you come in, they'll try and speak English. So you're changing the dynamics, so you're never actually seeing it how it is. But when you travel in a group that size, you're changing it completely. Like, you walk into a restaurant, all the staff are like, oh no, we're gonna have to cook 20 meals. Like, you just change how people perceive you. So yeah, that's not the style of travel for me. Oh, there's a nice shovel here. I wonder if this is, I was looking for a bit of rubber hose to fix my bike the other week, but a thinner diameter than that. So if I'm gonna keep an eye out for hose like that, but thinner. I need like an 8mm. That's too big. Where else in the world will you see a tuk-tuk followed by a Tesla? So I've now, quite by accident, ended up in the proper like tourist hotspot bit. So you can see you've got the temples across the road here, you've got your tourist tuk-tuks going by, and then ahead, so we have our traditional like Thai shop where there's some really cool stuff in here, like all these trinkets and stuff you can get as souvenirs. And then right next door we've got Boots the chemist, or a pharmacy if you're watching in the US. And then we have a Boots Chiang Mai mural here, which is actually quite nice. It's nice to see that's a reusable paper bag as opposed to a plastic bag. So in front of me, behind you, is the most preserved and intact section of the wall that we saw at the start of the video. So I'll show you from this angle. So this is like the bottom side of the tourist area. So we've got all this here, and then we've got the wall here. and it looks in remarkably good condition. But you can just see you've got steps going up here. You can see the height of it. And this gate, I've forgotten the name of the gate, but this gate's quite famous. See the gate here and the sheer size of it. I don't know how old the gate itself is, but you can see like the wood and then the rollers to close it. I'm gonna get run over here. I'm gonna move. But yeah, it'd be quite the formidable task. So this is we're now on the outside of it. So this is what it's like from the outside. So I don't know why they put this ledge along here, because that looks like you could sort of climb up and jump over, but it'd still be a mission. But yeah, the size of this gate, and then the sturdiness of it. I'm guessing that when it was in use, if that's a wooden gate, the original one will have long since rotted away. So I can only imagine what it was like before. But if we walk back a little bit, I don't know why this is open to the public. Right, so if we walk back a little bit, we can see we have one of the original gates or access points into Chiang Mai, into the fortified area of the city, what would have been an impenetrable fortress, or an attempt at one at least, back in ye old days. And we can see straight down there is one road, and then from here it's either 1.8 or 2 kilometers to the other side of it. And bearing in mind, on this side you can see the moat runs along just there. So this section's been filled in, obviously, for tourists to come and like stand and look and take pictures and stuff. You can see it's quite a popular spot. And then again, so you've got the oldness of that, and then you've got Starbucks here, you've got McDonald's over here, and then you've got the access to the night market. So I'll go and show you this archway. So you've got the archway ahead into the night market, which looks really impressive when it's lit up. But to go and see it, we need to cross the road again. We're going to, oh wait, oh, lost it, lost my nerve. I'm going to try again after this. So yeah, we have this very pretty archway here, and further down, so this is just a small one here, so further down, this is the access to one of the night markets. So you can see it's quite the look. I'm going to try and get closer. What way is the traffic going? Right, if I go, right, okay, we're crossing. So yeah, close up you can see it's got like Christmas decorations and stuff, but you've got all the lights here. And oh, I love this Greenland cannabis 420. So yeah, this is the view. So it goes all the way down, it extends all the way down there. You can see you've got the lights there as well, so that would look really cool, or will look really cool, or does look really cool when it's lit up. But this has to be the biggest weed shop I've ever seen. So yeah, distinctly Asian thing. So what this guy is doing here just now is he is feeding the pigeons. So he has bird feed. So he's got bird feed, so he feeds the pigeons. You stand against the wall, and then he makes a noise with his cone, and then you can get your picture with the birds flying in the background. I don't know, like, I've heard this happen multiple times in the last few minutes. I don't know at what stage the birds just become desensitized to the noise, because it seems to be working consistently. Let's see if they do it again this time. I don't know, was that a real one? It didn't blow through the cone. And then we've got the official photographer here in the background. So it's probably quite a cool effect. I'm surprised these pigeons aren't that fat they can't fly away anymore, because I saw that guy do the same thing about 5 or 6 times in the minute that it was there. So like, these pigeons are just constantly eating the whole day. We actually have a crosswalk here, so I'm going to cross here, so outside the Burger King. Oh, I don't even need it, wait, I can just cross. This is one of Chiang Mai's only functioning pedestrian crossings, so I think it's worthwhile noting that it's actually here, and the only reason it's here is because it's next to this gate, which is like one of the main attractions. So that's it there. Look, there's a vehicle stopping. So here's a taxi here. We've got a monk inside. So all the taxis, or not all of them, but a lot of them in Chiang Mai and Thailand in general are like this. So you've just got a pickup truck that's been converted, and it's got bench seats in the back. You can fit like 8 or 9 people. And then ahead we've got the definition of Thailand. So we've got the 7-Eleven with a tuk-tuk parked outside, and then a shop selling suits next to it. So I think from me and my new hat, that's about all I've got to show you in Chiang Mai. So if I've done this video right, you've not learned anything at all about Chiang Mai, but hopefully you've at least seen in the background when I've been rambling on what it's like and what you can expect if you decide to come here in the future. So until next time, adios.